I'm going to tell you about some of the best food courts in Washington, D.C. Hello, welcome to Trip Hacks DC. My name is Rob. I'm a tour guide here in the nation's capital. If you're interested in Washington, D.C. and you're looking for the best tips, tricks, and hacks for exploring the city, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification icon so that you don't miss anything in the future. And after you're done watching Trip Hacks DC videos, head on over to triphacksdc.com for even more. Washington, D.C. has an overwhelming number of great restaurants. And if you're interested in learning about those great restaurants, I highly recommend the Trip Hacks DC podcast episode that I recorded with Jessica, the food editor for Washingtonian Magazine. But sometimes you're just looking for something quick, convenient, and easy. I get it. And there's not much that's more convenient or easy than a food court. Now, I'm personally really interested about food courts, so here's what I need you to do. After you watch this video, go down and leave a comment and let me know which food court you thought looked most interesting and which place you would most like to try. And before we get started, I have to warn that if you visit during 8th grade field trip season, all of these food courts are going to be mobbed, especially during the lunch rush. So either come a little earlier or later than lunch, or avoid food courts at that time of year. And if you have no idea what 8th grade field trip season means, make sure to go down in the description and watch my video on that afterwards. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. First up is the food court at Union Station. In 2019, Union Station actually has a pretty nice number of food options. The best places, in my personal opinion, are actually up on the main level near the Great Hall. That's where you'll find Shake Shack, Magnolia Bakery, Chopped, and a few others. If you're looking for the actual food court, that's one level down. Now, if you've been to a mall food court recently, you generally know what to expect. My personal favorite place to eat here is And Pizza, which I have mentioned in several of my previous videos, including my best cheap eats video. Every pie at And Pizza is made to order and is fresh and delicious. So to me, you really can't go wrong. The next food court is called Eat at National Place. This food court is located at 13th and F Streets Northwest, about a block from the Metro Center station. There's also an entrance on the other side on Pennsylvania Avenue. This is actually a relatively small food court with less than 10 eateries, but it has your food court staples like burgers and pizza. My personal favorite place to eat here is Taquerian, which is yet another spot I mentioned in my Cheap Eats video, and in my video about using the Level Up app to save money when you get here. So if you want to eat at Taquerian, go ahead and look up that Level Up video down in the description. The next food court is only a few blocks away, and it's inside the Ronald Reagan Building and International Trade Center. Now, this is a federal government office building. So the annoying thing is that to eat at the food court, you have to go through a metal detector and standard security. Once you're inside, there are about 20 eateries in this one. Generally, very standard food court options. My personal favorite is called Nook. It's got a pretty eclectic mix of different foods. And I like it because it's a little more adventurous than your typical fast food spot. And before we get to the last food court, I want to give an honorable mention to the cafe at the USDA headquarters. It's technically more of a cafeteria than a food court, but it is an excellent weekday lunch option. So if you're interested, check out the description. I have an entire video about eating there. And the last food court I want to tell you about is L'Enfant Plaza. This is the only of the food courts I'm mentioning that's south of the National Mall. So it's convenient if you're over exploring the Air and Space Museum, the Hirshhorn Museum, or you're staying in the southern part of the city. L'Enfant Plaza is essentially split into two separate food courts. There's one that's closer to the metro station, and then another down a long hallway that's close to the International Spy Museum. Of all the food courts, I think this is actually my favorite, simply because it has two of my favorite all-time eateries. In this section closer to the metro station, I really like Roti, which serves excellent Mediterranean bowls. If you watch my $20 a day challenge, you might remember I ate here for dinner one night. At the other end of the food court is a restaurant called Maisel. They describe themselves as South American street food. And as far as I know, there aren't a lot of South American street food places around here, at least not yet. If you're on a budget or not that hungry, they have arepas for $5. But I usually get a rice bowl, which is a little more money, but very filling and totally worth it. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you stuck around this long, you're probably interested in more videos, so go ahead and click or tap right over here to see the next one. And if you're coming to Washington, D.C. and you're interested in signing up for a Trip Hacks DC guided tour, you can click on the Capitol Dome on the left side of my head. That'll send you right over to triphacksdc.com where you can see all of our tour options. Enjoy your trip!